Who is your most hated TV character? Joffrey. I mean, props to the actor for making him such a little shit, but I really couldn't stand him on GOT. I feel the same way about Cersei and her actress Lena Headey. She did such an amazing job at making her such a horrible person. Too bad the entire last season her only job was to look smug and hold wine. She must have been horrified and furious after reading that S8 script. Okay, Lena, your job is to sip and stare. Kit, your job is to say I don't want it over and over. The man in Full Metal Alchemist who fused his dog and daughter together. Shoutaka can get fucked. Shoutaka? More like Showfucker. K-Lao. That bald-headed bitch does nothing but teach children that throwing temper tantrums and whining 24/7 gets you whatever you want. Kid's a freaking monster and the show should be banned. That little shit snitch Randall from Recess. Hated him and his stupid grin. What's with Jimmy Pesto in Bob's Burgers? He's a complete asshole with the maturity of a 7-year-old. Also, what was with that episode where he and Bob were in a game show and Jimmy won a car because he cheated and then Bob changed his tire for him? That made me so mad. He got no consequences at all. Also, his pizza sucks. I've heard it said that Jimmy resents Bob since Jimmy is clearly divorced and is not very good at relating to his eccentric children. Whereas Bob is very happy with his family despite being less successful than Jimmy and being slovenly in contrast to Jim as being handsome. There's also the fact that Bob opened up a competing restaurant right across the street from Jimmy Pesto's. Plus in the intro we see rats fleeing Bob's Burgers, which would annoy the shit out of anybody in that neighborhood. I love that Jimmy is just a jerk though. On any other show, by season 9 we certainly would have gotten a couple of Lamb episodes where Jimmy and Bob team up and temporarily become friends. I read that it's a shame that Bob and Jimmy are enemies, because although Jimmy's food sucks he knows how to get customers in with fun themes and karaoke and stuff like that. While Bob cooks great food his restaurant is pretty boring, and he doesn't have a lot of customers, so if they teamed up and ran a restaurant together it would be a massive success. I thought that was an interesting point. I love Bob's Burgers, but it always been a kinda sticking point to me that he actually makes good burgers, but the joint is empty 90% of the time. In real life, hipsters would be all the fuck over that burger place. It would be on 1,000 apps as cute little seaside burger joint, authentic diner vibes and eccentric but accommodating staff. Food is amazing, and there's even a hilarious burger of the week pun. Something new every time I go there. Must visit. Bruh, people go to restaurants where they hit you with branches and spit water in your face to make it feel like you're in a rainforest while you eat a mango that cost £20. You gotta know they'd swarm Bob's Burgers. Laurie from The Walking Dead. Bitch didn't do anything and somehow flipped a car on an open road while pregnant. Paraphrasing, I think I'm gonna have to kill Shane. Do what you have to do. Rick kills Shane. What the fuck did you do? Yep, hated her. Deb from Shameless really starts to eat at you after a while. I stopped watching when she purposely got knocked up to trap that guy, then acted like the victim. After doing that she proceeded to do a whole bunch of other stupid shit. It's a shame too. Her character when she was a kid was really interesting. Now she's loathsome. Fiona got really annoying too. It's like the likable characters from the first few seasons became the worst as the show went on and vice versa. Cole was a little shit. Now he's one of the better characters. I know everyone hates Jimmy/Steve, but boy do I miss him lol. Delonda from The Wire. Her husband, a high-ranking member in organized crime, gets a life sentence. She gets money from her husband's associates until they cut her off. Her response? Encourage her teenage son, Naaman, to deal drugs so she can keep living like how she's used to. The way she reacts to her son's shortcomings as a drug dealer is how you'd expect any other mother react to behavioral or academic issues. When he gets arrested, she's out of town on a shopping trip. She tells the police to keep him and that she won't pick him up. His teacher, who's a former cop, picks him up and Naaman spends the night at his house. The mother tells him to stay the fuck away from my son when he drops him off in the morning. Their last interaction is her calling him a bitch, telling him he isn't a man like his father is, and slapping him in the face for messing up a package. He runs off and refuses to go back. His teacher convinces his father to give him custody, which he does. In The Wire, There were so many shit stins. She may not have had Molo's body count, but it takes a special piece of shit to push your 14-year-old son to drug dealing, just so you can continue to live in comfort. Thank you. I fucking cheered when Weebay went to bat for what was best for his son, because fuck Dilonda. Kevin Cucumber from SpongeBob. He's such a loser. Hi, Kevin. The ultimate nice guy, Ted Mosby. I just want to settle down and find the right woman. Proceeds to bang as many women as he possibly can. Then spends like 10 years wasting our time telling a story that ended with the biggest disappointment ever. The final season is awful, don't get me wrong. But if you didn't see that him was about Robin from the start, you weren't really watching. I find Sheldon Cooper repugnant. If anyone in the real world treated his friends the way he does, even Hollywood's worst caricatures of nerds exampled by the rest of the cast, he'd be kicked out of that unrealistically large apartment in the first season. Scene cuts to the apartment. Sheldon is sitting at his desk, typing away in his computer, and suddenly raises his head, seemingly distressed about something. Sheldon, Leonard? A minor laugh track plays. The camera shows Leonard who, despite not looking up from his computer, seems bothered. Leonard, what is it, Sheldon? Sheldon looks around the apartment for a brief moment. Sheldon, did you set the correct thermostat temperature? Laugh track plays. Leonard rubs his head in annoyance. Leonard, yes Sheldon, I did. Sheldon looks away for a brief moment, then back at Leonard. Sheldon, no you didn't. This room isn't at 28.7 Celsius degrees. Laugh track. Leonard, I'm pretty sure I did. Sheldon produces a thermometer from his pocket. The audience laughs because wacky. Sheldon. 28.8 degrees. Leonard, are you trying to kill me? Intense laugh track. Leonard sulks on his seat. Leonard, maybe I am. The audience loses it, collectively shitting their pants from laughter. Sheldon gets up to adjust the thermostat. Sheldon, Leonard, I honestly cannot believe you've committed a mistake simple as this. Perhaps I overestimated your intellect. When was the last time you took an IQ test? The audience erupts with laughter. The old and weak die from having their lungs rupture from the sheer laughter force. Leonard stares up, wondering why God punishes him like this. Leonard, it's just the thermostat. Sheldon. Sheldon, who was about to sit down, turns abruptly to face Leonard, reacting as if his friend had just took a shit on the table. The audience laughs non-stop, all purple from the lack of oxygen. Death approaches, and they know it, but it's just so funny they can't stop laughing. Sheldon, just the thermostat? Leonard, are you insane? It has been scientifically proven that the slightest alterations of temperature can influence several bodily mechanisms, even affecting intelligence. I simply cannot let you compromise my intellect like this. Leonard ignores this as he ties a noose above the sofa. Stoically, he ties it around his neck, then jumps off the sofa. Unfortunately for him, his neck didn't break, so he'd have to wait until asphyxiation took his life. But he didn't squirm or gurgle. He stood perfectly still, silently awaiting the sweet release of death. Sheldon looks at the hanging corpse of his friend with horror, rushing towards him. Sheldon, oh my god. Leonard. Silence. Sheldon, you're in my spot. The audience is long dead, but their laughter echoes loudly. Their souls suffer for eternity, but the laughing never stops, forever and ever resonating. Sheldon Cooper then turns to face you, the viewer. He smiles, because he knows, you know, and he knows you know. You are drawn to this man as laughter reverberates around you. Escape is futile. It's too late for that. As the scientist nerd opens his mouth again, you know your fate is sealed. Sheldon, bazinga. The audience is no longer people, but a metaphysical being. They have ascended, all thanks to Sheldon. No more humanity, or the weakness of flesh. All that stands is laughter, the neuroinfectious phenomenon given conscience. It surrounds you, from everywhere, piercing through your very own soul. Reality shakes and warps at its presence. It won't be long now, soon you too will be part of it. As you leave your mortal husk behind, you wonder what kind of sick god would allow this. But there's no god, only the Big Bang Theory. She from Game of Thrones. Don't know what Tyrion saw in her besides the obvious looks. Tyrion, if people find out we are together you will be murdered. She, are you ashamed of me? I hate you. She the funny whore. I read that in her voice, and it made me angry. Randy on that 70s show. They tried to replace Sarek with him, but I just did not like him. Nobody liked him. I honestly hated Fez more that season, because he sucked so much. Ricky Spanish point Ricky Spanish point Ricky Spanish point Ricky Spanish point Ricky Spanish. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell to turn on notifications, so you'll be sure to know when the next video comes out. Want to watch some more? Check out my other videos. I really do appreciate everyone who helps make these videos possible. And as always, thanks for watching.